Hello again. In part 1 we looked at the outdoor event. In part 2 we're going to look at indoor bowls. I hope you enjoy what follows, a collection of some of the highlights of the World Indoor Singles Championships over 2 decades.
BBC Scotland pioneered a big annual event in Coatbridge that in 1979 turned into the World Indoor Bowls Championships, and there are no prizes for guessing who won it for the first 3 years. Unfortunately, we don't have any footage for 1979, but we can have a quick look at the 1980 and 1981 finals, when David Bryant played Philip Chock of Hong Kong and John Thomas of Wales, respectively.
I don't think he'll get back in time. No, he won't. The game's all over.
There it is. David Bryant. Clevedon, Avon, England is capped by Philip Chock. A great final. David Bryant went ahead 15-3. A younger man from Hong Kong fought back from 15-3 to 15-13, and then it was 21-15 for David Bryant.
Short Welsh bowls, taking another wide line. Better weight this time, I think. And if he scores with this bowl, it'll be very difficult to beat, because she's down. So that's a very, very good position for Bryant, and very difficult for Thomas, who's now in all sorts of trouble.
Yes, David Bryant lying game.
Will he drive with this bowl? No, he's wisely acted to use weight, but he hasn't got the green for the weight. Take one of his bowls behind the jack.
That's how it looks. David Bryant on either side of the jack. Those are the 2 shots he needs for victory. 19-17 he leads.
I would be surprised if Bryant goes anywhere near that jack. He won't want to broaden the head with that position, because there's very little for Thomas to hit if he chooses to use weight. Well, I knew he wouldn't go anywhere near the head, but he's wanting to stop the draw on this forehand. It'll be a hazard, but he can get inside it with a little running, can Thomas, if he chooses to play the shot. He's in a desperate position.
It is indeed. John Thomas, this 31-year-old Welshman, undefeated so far in the championship, including a win over David Bryant in the qualifying stages, has this ball to prolong the match. Has to save at least one. What must he be feeling? He needs to have the bowl of his life here.
It's all over.
He's missed. It's all over, and David Bryant, for the 3rd successive time, is the Embassy World Champion. 21-17 the score after a marvellous final, which looked to be going all Bryant's way right up until the 14th end, and then this fighting Welshman came right back into the game at Bryant under all sorts of pressure, but in the end David makes it the hat-trick. 21-17. So the trophy will be presented to the champion by Mrs. Jenny Collingridge, the wife of the personnel director of the sponsors WD and H.O. Wills. For the 3rd time he comes up to receive the trophy and a cheque for £2,500 as the Embassy World Indoor Bowls champion for 1981.
As if to emphasise Scotland's hold on the sport, John Watson and Bob Sutherland were the next 2 winners of the World Indoor Singles title at Coatbridge. John Watson defeated an up-and-coming Irishman, Jim Baker, in the final.
He can draw a good second on the forehand.
He's got to save 2 shots to stay alive.
His only hope if he drives is making direct contact with the jack, and I'm not so sure he can do that. He's drawing.
So there's the pressure bowl to end all pressure bowls. to stay in this World Championship final. Ireland's Jim Baker, he's driving. He's got it, but it's not enough, and Scotland's John Watson lifts the trophy as the new world champion. He led from the start. Jim Baker never let him away, but in the end Watson was just too good on the day, and we have a new world champion, John Watson of Scotland.
In 1983, Bob Sutherland, a real character and an ex-Rangers centre-half, beat a young Canadian, Bernie Gill.
Quite a useful ball there from Gill. From Sutherland, following him down on the backhand, looking to improve on it. And he certainly does. That's the shot. Right behind the jack, perfect line.
And again we see Sutherland in a match-winning position. That's the one he wants for victory. And if there is a slight danger that Bob Sutherland's concentration should slip, there can be absolutely no chance at all of Bernie Gill having a lapse of concentration. He knows he'll have to really concentrate as hard as he can with every wood. What a great ball. Again we see the young Canadian bowling a great wood under a great deal of pressure. Match against him there. And another toucher from the Canadian.
Well, he's certainly not giving up, David. He hasn't played at all badly. It's just been Bob Sutherland's consistency and sheer brilliance at times that has opened this gap. So back goes Bob Sutherland. He has the knowledge, of course, that he's got a very close second. He's not going to lose many, and there's an old saying, you don't go far on singles. So as long as Bob can keep pegging Bernie down to singles, he must have a loose end in a moment to allow Bob to run out. We've got a good line here. He could fall off his own bow for shot. No, he just rocks it, falls back.
And this final continuing as it began with some very consistent play from both players. It's Gill who holds shot at the moment, but a slight problem for him. He mustn't turn his own bowl over and move the jack, because if so he gives the game away. But I'm sure he'll be anxious to get another shot in here.
Well, of course, he's got to be looking for more than one shot. Takes a long time in singles. Well, he's well played. Well, had he have missed his own bowl, he might have scored, but his own bowl stopped him going in. He tipped it up, it rocked back, pushed him back down the green, and like he holds one shot.
But it doesn't make it any easier for Sutherland. Before that last delivery of Gill, there was a good chance on the backhand for Bob Sutherland, but his access to the head has been barred on the backhand. Forehand delivery.
Oh, he looks to be close with this. If he gets back, he's got it. Yes, that's it.
And that absolutely superb delivery from Bob Sutherland must be the match winner. He's tucked the jack around the corner. One shot he lies, he might even be two here. He doesn't need to, of course, but it's always useful to have two, just in case your opponent takes the one out.
Well, it's the position as well, David, isn't it? I mean, what is Bernie going to do? Any movement on the jack, it must come back to Bob's back bow. It's difficult to see what he can play.
And with only one wood left, it has to be a magnificent wood. He must be able to find a way of getting in there. He's studying it from every possible angle. 6 woods in the head, and look how close they are. The furthest wood is only some 14 inches away from the jack.
Well, he's driving. He's driving. He's cutting away. It's all over. It's all over.
Well, he's missed, and Bob Sutherland's arms go in the air. The crowd give the cheer of a large football crowd. They're very excited about the win of their local man, the Scottish champion. Bob Sutherland's family very excited about it too. And Bob Sutherland, the 1983 World Embassy Indoor Singles Champion.
Bad ball indeed, especially at this stage of the game. Bransky must...
In 1985, the title went to Wales for the first time when Terry Sullivan defeated Israel's Cecil Bransky in the final.
Playing his forehand. Game rather surprising. He switched to the backhand, was doing rather well. He was bowling good weight on the backhand. He only had to increase his green. In this direction, whilst both these players have been playing forehand, it's been Terry Sullivan that's been coming out on top. And there he's got it.
Well, that sets him up for a match-winning end. That's the position that every bowler likes to see his bowl in. Can hardly be beaten now. I feel it'll take two bowls to beat this excellent shot. And Bransky must get close to stop Terry Sullivan scoring 3 on this end. Wonderful chance for Sullivan.
Important ball again for Sullivan. Can he get another one in? Overweighted. Too much.
It's not bad. The applause from the crowd suggesting that they have spotted that if the jack should spring, it's a good positional bowl.
Yes, any touch on the bowl to send the jack back to that wood, but I feel it was a mistake. And as much as he wasn't trying to get it there, he was trying to draw another shot. He realised that it was a great opportunity to score 3 shots and win the game. Looks as if he's holding 2, but I'm surely Cecil Bransky will draw something closer than that last bowl. He's gone on his backhand. This is the hand I feel that he's been playing well. And he draws straight onto the bow. The jack is sprung. And I have the feeling that it may be 2 to blue, which if it is, if Terry Sullivan can draw this last one, he will have a match line.
2 it is. 2 shots to Sullivan. In a way, Bransky's improved it for himself. He's given him room to draw with his last bowl, but he's given Sullivan the chance of game, which wasn't there before. Sullivan needs this on top to really turn the screw.
Can he clear the front? Can he get round it? He can. Well, it's fallen back. Yes, it's in. Well, here we have a match-winning situation. Now, what is Cecil Bransky going to do? He has played nothing on the forehand side of the rink. I think that last bowl, toppling over and partly blocking the forehand, will make him play the backhand, and in my opinion he's been playing this backhand far better than he gives himself credit for. He's been bowling good weight on this backhand as long as he grasses it, and he's pushed it out. Looks heavy though. Surely he's pushed that bowl. Surely he's pushed it. Well,
Terry Sullivan has done it. Cecil Bransky's last ball wasn't good enough, and Terry Sullivan is the Embassy World Indoor Champion with 3 shots to make it 21-18. A marvellous final, anybody's game right until the very last end. But for the first time, Wales have the World Indoor Champion, and Terry Sullivan has added that title to his UK title.
The next 2 years saw Tony Alcock at his best, as he became the second Englishman to win the title. But he would have widened the target, he would have opened it out. As it is, it's just as difficult as it was before. Now, Tony will not want another shot. He will surely put one behind. Sutherland's second and third deliveries almost identical. Played just below the weight that he required to open up his target. The World Singles Championship has never been won by an overseas player. Scotland's chances of changing that now look slim, and the chances of Tony Alcock to become the second Englishman to win the title are looking very rosy indeed. The last Englishman to win the World Singles title was David Bryant back in 1981. Since then it's been won by 2 Scotsmen, John Watson and Bob Sutherland, an Irishman, Jim Baker, and last year by a Welshman, Terry Sullivan. Signs are that he's going to fire. No, not firing. Trying that controlled weight he tried before. He's very close. Can he fall in? Yes! He fell in, touched the jack went to Tony Alcock's bowl. That was an amazing last bowl from Phil Scotland. I think it must be said he deserved to get the shot with it. But don't let's take it away from young Tony Alcock. He's played well throughout the week and fully deserves the finest honour in the game. Winner of the 1986 Embassy World Championship. But look how near Scotland went.
Championship winning ball with this, his last delivery of the end.
Hugh Duff, a young Scot, had shown what he could do against David Bryant in the previous year's semi-finals. But when the event moved for 1 year only to London's Alexandra Palace, Duff came into his own. In a best-of-9 sets final, Duff leads Wyn Richards by 4 sets to 1, and it's all square, 4-all, in the 6th set.
He's got it. It's 3 shots. That's the championship winning lie.
And what a handsome lie it is, quite typical of this final. Wyn Richards has got 3 bowls there within 15 inches of the jack, but Hugh Duff holds 3 shots with 3 within 6 inches.
So it all depends on this ball from Wyn Richards.
I don't think it's there. It isn't. It's all over. 5 sets to 1, a quite marvellous display of bowling by this 24-year-old from Auchinleck in Ayrshire, the youngest ever world singles champion, indoor or out.
Willie Wood had suffered defeat in the World Outdoor Singles Championship in 1988, but he was confident of success indoors in 1989. In the final, he came up against a young Scotsman, Richard Corsie, who took the first 4 sets and raced into a 5-0 lead in the 5th.
Number 1 seed next season, defending the title.
I'm sure deep down Richard is really sorry for Willie, the way things are turning out, but he's doing the right thing. Professional, clinical approach right to the end. He knows he really can't afford to open a door for Willie.
That's the trophy, and there's a little matter of £18,000 for the winner, £10,000 for the runner-up. Willie not driving as might have been expected. Playing a difficult timing shot. May have given himself a chance for a drive with that bowl.
And Richard very wisely not coming anywhere near these 2 blue balls. Well, it's not a bad blocker.
It's close this time. No, just short of the object. Richard Corsie needing the 2 shots he requires for the championship, putting in another block. Convinced that Willie will drive this time.
Well, the way Willie's drawing, he can't, I think, Jimmy, for his life and getting within 6 inches, he'll have to play with weight. Only needs to take 1 out to stay alive, of course. He could get half of his own red ball, take 1 out.
Is this going to be the last bowl of the 1989 championship with weight? Gone, and the 22-year-old postman from Edinburgh is not only the 1989 World Indoor Singles champion, is the youngest ever. His opponent, Willie Wood. Poor Willie, the 3rd time he's lost a world title at the very last stage of the finals, but all credit to this young man. He's played beautifully throughout the week, he's performed immaculately in the final. He's the champion.
1990 was the year that Welshman John Price, often introduced in those days as the man who has so far failed to fulfil his potential, took on Australia's professional tennis coach and former Aussie rules footballer Ian Schubach in the final.
Still not the killer.
No, there's still room for Ian Schubach in normal circumstances, but these aren't normal circumstances with the tension of the closing stages of a World Championship final. Not an easy job to draw within about 15 inches of the jack.
just as Jimmy Davidson was saying, it's a devil of a job to get that within 15 inches of the jack with that sort of pressure, but Ian Schubach is the man capable of doing it. Is this the winner from Price? Oh, he looks to the hands, he clenches his fist, he does a little dance. Have you ever seen John Price get so excited?
He's punching like a piston.
He must have had some help.
We were talking about how difficult it was to draw in these circumstances. It looks well nigh impossible now, David. I think with his third bowl at the end, Ian's got to open something up.
Ian Schubach has 2 bowls with which to work. 2 chances to save the championship. His heart must have sank when he saw that great drawing bowl homing in on the jack. Finalist in the pairs, finalist in the singles. Is he going to be runner-up in both?
Looks like he's winding up for a drive.
And you know, he's not improved it. He's just got a single bowl target to hit with his next bowl. The only thing he has done, Jimmy, is to put some back bowls in.
Yes, indeed, David. He's got the possibility of punching the jack through. He's got the best back position, and you can bet your life that John Price will try to get in a back bowl to cover those.
When Schubach saw he'd missed his target, he was ushering those bowls through, pushing them through. Price then, this is perfect. This is a good back bowl. It's in between the 2 red ones. It's the deepest back bowl. It is the best bowl on the green. Two shots there in the head to John Price, but he's also got the best back now, and the big Welsh contingent in this crowd delighted at the performance of John, including his mum and dad, Harry and Margaret. They can't believe it. They've been firm supporters of John ever since Harry taught him to play at the age of 13, and now he's on the point of becoming the world champion.
Ian Schubach, last bowl of the end, the bowl to save the championship, encouraged by applause from the crowd. Weighed up all the angles. He'll finish up, I think, trying to play a timing shot to remove both.
And Price, behind the screen, daren't look at what Ian Schubach is about to do. Schubach, this to save the championship. The shot to John Price. The stadium erupts. The celebrations are about to begin. The Welshman John Price, who has threatened to win one of the big championships, has finally done it. He is the world indoor champion, beating Ian Schubach by 3 sets to 2.
And the there's a lot of emotion around from his parents, from John himself.
Ladies and gentlemen, your new 9th Embassy champion.
(1991), Schubach gets to the final again, and this time he faces Richard Corsie.
Well, this will decide whether he feels he's shot or not. Is he going to reach? I reckon he'll just err a little bit on the side of caution, does he? Brilliant! That's a magic ball.
What an audacious shot. 9 bowlers out of 10, 99 bowlers out of 100 would have stayed well away from that. He has tried to dominate. Corsie, of course, has contested him every inch of the way.
What do you mean, something like this, David? Absolutely brilliant. And who was the shot?
Nobody has asked the question yet, but Dave Higgs knows that any minute somebody's going to pop the question. Well, if you don't know, says Ian Schubach, who does? And Schubach there just asking for permission to visit the head. The recommendations are that the players do not visit the head until each has delivered 2 bowls. But at this stage of a world final, with the first prize of £22,500 at stake, and with Richard Corsie needing just 1 for victory, who can blame him for wanting to see it at close quarters?
Well, Schubach obviously would like to just drop out the Corsie ball to take any doubt at all about who's shot. So he's playing his forehand. Just with enough running, try and just turn that red ball out of the head and stay for 2 to possibly take this set. And he's not far up doing it. If he just got to touch it and he roll it, brilliant!
Oh no! For half a second, Ian Schubach held not 1 shot but 2. The bowls readjusted their position, and that's hard to bear. Ian Schubach, who carries his towel everywhere, threw it at the marker, Dave Higgs, but believe me, he's not throwing in the towel.
Corsie looking to cover that area just to the left of the jack and behind the jack. He's doing it. That's a great ball.
The red shot of Richard Corsie still holding the shot. That's a championship winning lie. And Ian Schubach, who tried such a brave shot with his second delivery, deserved to get the shot and failed, has 2 more bowls left before he surrenders. And I can tell you that on the back of Ian Schubach's visiting card is the legend, as follows. It says, "Failure will never overtake you if your determination to succeed is strong enough." This man's motto.
And how he is proving it in this particular match. Never beaten until the last ball is bowled. Now he wants a similar ball now to his previous. This and one other ball left to stay in the championship. He's got to change it. So just over the weight. Could be wide. Can he get back into it? Could squeeze it. Could get the shot ball out. Brilliant again, and I think he's got it this time.
Well, he's made the shot. With a little more luck, he could have made 2 for the set. But by the time Dave Higgs has a look at this and signals, I'm sure he'll be signalling a blue shot. Yes, there it is. So the applause there, causing Corsie to delay just a little before bowling this, his third delivery of the end. Plenty of room to draw it, we think. Is he up? You could cut the tension with a knife here at the Preston Guildhall. Ian Schubach holding one shot. He has a bowl to come. He could make it 2. That would set up a set lie. But of course, on this end, Richard Corsie will have the last laugh. He has the final delivery.
Well, now, tensions building up. Last ball from Schubach. Ideally, could do with a front toucher, so that if Corsie has to drive, the toucher and the jack will go in the ditch. So, how quiet it's gone. Waiting for this ball, and they'll follow it all the way down. So he's got it.
Has it stopped in time? We can't tell from Ian Schubach's face. And Richard Corsie has asked Dave Higgs for his opinion. Well, come along, Mr. Higgs. What do you think? Well, we can give you just as good a picture of the head as he has. One and a measure. What do you think at home? Is that bowl at the bottom of the picture in the count? Does it give Ian Schubach a set-winning lie? Can Corsie draw a bowl to within 18 inches to win the championship? Richard Corsie, arms in the air, he's celebrating. He was given the chance to draw within 18 inches for the championship. He's done it. One shot to the young Scot. Congratulations from Ian Schubach. Richard Corsie has won the World Indoor Singles title for the second time. Next up comes Ian Schubach's finest hour. Australians had traditionally struggled to show their form on the UK's indoor carpets. But Shuey, the true professional, became the first overseas player to win the title. We joined the final with Shuey leading John Price 2-1 and by 5 shots to 4 in the 4th set. Cut and thrust.
Shot below in relation to Jack High, please.
Slightly past Jack High.
And my bowl, how far through is it now?
13, 14 inches.
Yeah, look at this. Just nicely up to the ball, onto the ball, turn it out. What an amazing game this is. Each and every ball beating the previous one. Now we're going to see it again from Schubach. Can he reach? The line is absolutely perfect. Oh, can he run? I just don't think so. I think it's still Walter Price.
Yes, one to the Welshman, and Schubach was actually looking for 2 shots if he'd got another foot of running. He's picking that jack up and trailing it to his own bow. And I would suggest here, Mal, that John Price needs another one in there, and quick.
Well, he had a good look at the head. He's got really 2 chances. If he plays the forehand and turns the jack just over to these 2 weighty red balls, and of course he would have a set lie. I just add another one and cover that shot ball so that Shuey can't use it as a rest on the backhand. But it's forehand. Looking to trail that jack if he can. Just a foot. Has he got the strength? Oh, he's not going to turn Shuey in, is he? He's turned him in. He's given the shot away.
Well, we're not sure about that yet. We need confirmation. Oh, yes, John Price says it's 1 down. He's given the shot away. And this is how he did it. Another foot of running, he'd have been round that corner, he'd have been trailing that jack. Bit unfortunate.
Yes, he didn't like that. He didn't want to give up Shuey opportunities. No free throws. But Shuey now, I'm sure, will still play the backhand, try and rest the red ball just jack high there. But a match lie.
Has he got enough weight? That's not in. But what a position. Just wait until I bowl my next bowl, says Ian Schubach. Got a match shot on then. Unless John Price can, in the meantime, tuck the jack round the corner. Really needs a big one here.
This is a big ball. This is the one. You give him the set lie to stay in this match. Has he got the weight? He's not up. He's not up again. Oh, and he's left the gap open there. For Shuey, will he take this opportunity? He's only got to sit the John Price ball out. And he is then the 1992 World Singles Champion.
Is this going to be the St. David's Day massacre as far as John Price is concerned? Has he played his final delivery in the 1992 World Indoor Singles Final? The next bowl will answer that question. Price can hardly look anywhere but at the head. Schubach, a backhand delivery with weight, an attacking bowl to turn the red bowl out for game, set and match. kangaroo, it's Ian Schubach. He's the world champion at last after 3 finals. He reverses the result of the 1990 final, turning his own bowl in there for 2 shots. League competition. Richard Corsie again, and he's up against another Scot, Jim McCann, the carpet layer, who sucked a carpet tack throughout his campaign and looked for all the world as if he'd come to lay a carpet, not to deliver bowls on one.
It'll be interesting to find out whether, in fact, Corsie is 2 or only 1. Marker looks like he's signalling 2. I think we may see some fireworks. He prefers the forehand drive, Jim McCann, and the shot is on the forehand with weight. So if he draws it, he's only got to draw it 6 inches, and he's got a set lie. But I think he's tight.
There's not a lot in that second shot. Corsie's had a good look at it, and although David McCloy did signal 2, it's important to realise it's only his opinion. He hasn't measured it. That's merely what his eye tells him. What does McCann's eye tell him?
I think this is a back covering ball from Richard Corsie, and that's a good ball. That is a very, very good ball. Perfect position should the jack be sprung towards the ditch.
The man who's won the hearts of not only the large crowds here at the Guildhall, but of millions of television viewers this week. Goes back to the mat with 1 bowl left to save his hopes in the championship. And Richard Corsie, he's done his bit. He's built up a match and championship lie. McCann firing on the forehand. Got it! And he's got the shot out of that, you know. There's a lot of rubbish in the ditch. Some bowls went off the rink. Great strike that, Mal.
Absolutely first class. Look at this, off his forehand, loves the forehand. Bang! Pushes that blue ball in with the toucher, the red ball toucher. Keeps pushing the blue ball towards the jack in the ditch. And I think he's laid 1. And it's signalled by the umpire and marker. It is 1. Brilliant.
Corsie, of course, has the final bowl of the end. He's going to strike that bowl off for the championship. Got it! What a way to win the world title! The man who is known for his drawing ability, in the end, used firm tactics, a strike, taking a single bowl off the green for 2 shots, and those 2 shots give Richard Corsie the set, the match, and the championship, the World Championship for the 3rd time, and a first prize of £24,000. Scots-born Andy Thompson had dominated English bowls since he moved south in the early 80s, but he had never shown his true form in the world event. 1994 was his year. Could that be the winner? brilliant.
But 2.5 inches off the jack.
Great pressure bowling there by Richard Corsie.
He's done it. Every bowl of this end taking the shot in turn. First it was set point to Corsie, then match point to Thompson, then set point to Corsie, and now here's a championship lie being set up by Thompson, stroking that jack from the orange bowl to the blue bowl. Is that enough? Strong stuff from Corsie here, John.
It's not a good position. It's a very difficult hit for him. It looks as though he's making for the drive, trying to destroy the end.
And that drive was 18 inches wide of its target. More force than finesse to that. Corsie, normally deadly accurate with that kind of shot, missing the head completely.
I don't think Andy Thompson can improve the head for himself by drawing into it. I think you could see a blocking ball trying to stop the drive of Richard Corsie.
Well, the alternative to a blocker is one round the back. Of course, he's going to hit this. It's probably going to go dead. If it stays on the rink, the position now with Thompson. And Richard Corsie has just one bowl to come. The man who won the world title in 89, 91 and 93 has battled so well in this final, came back after losing the first two sets, but now it could all be slipping away from him.
Sutherland!
It was a great ball from Corsie. He hit his target, took everything out except the shot ball of Andy Thompson, and Andy Thompson jumped a mile high. The man who was beginning to feel he could never win a major competition on this portable rink has finally banished that hoodoo. Andy Thompson, the Anglo-Scot from New Eltham in London, is the new world champion, and doesn't he deserve it? John, tremendous display from Andy Thompson, winning those first two sets.
Well, he got off to a much better start today. Now that's settled him down. He really got into the game. Richard had to play well to get back into the game, and that's how well Andy feels. He knows he's world champion.
A repeat of last year's final, but this time it was Richard Corsie who was tipped to win it. After all, he'd won it in 1989, 1991 and 1993, and this, of course, was the next odd year. But the final was disappointing.
So edge the jack. Well, doesn't move the jack, but he is the shot.
Corsie already on the mat. Seems to be bowling rather more quickly than usual. A hurried pace. He's got a good bowl though. Oh, well played. Great effort from the young Scot. 28-year-old Richard Corsie, the Commonwealth Games champion, not giving up without a fight. Many said it was his turn this year, and this is Corsie's shot, attempt to take out the orange bowl, takes the jack instead and sees it go to an orange bowl. Many said that it was Corsie's turn to win the title this year. He won in 89, 91 and 93. This being an odd year, sequence was there for the taking. Thompson, though, has dug his heels in.
That's the forehand looking for the second shot. If he does that, again he's got a match lie. The line is absolutely perfect. He's willing it on, but not hard enough. 6 inches short of where he wanted to be.
What a good line.
And with where it is, looking for the solid plant. Onto his own short blue ball. Full contact on the Thompson ball. Oh, he's clipped it.
And Corsie unlucky to get that at an angle, and that's why he asked the question in the first place, who has got the third shot? That was the question. And the reason is, if I take my own bowl out, am I losing the match? The marker said he favoured the blue. Corsie must have accepted that, and he had a good chance to have a look at it at close quarters for himself. Decided to take the risk, took out his own nearest bowl. Has he given the match away? And what an incredible way to go out. Nobody would have predicted that. Richard Corsie taking a bit of a risk with his final delivery. He thought he was safe even if he took his nearest bowl out. The measure proved otherwise. The two shots went to Andy Thompson, and would you believe it, it's Andy Thompson in straight sets in the final. Andy Thompson retains his world indoor singles title and takes the cheque for £26,000. From a famous bowls dynasty, his mother and father had both won World and Commonwealth Games titles. David Gourlay Jr. was born to play bowls, and he was highly respected in Scotland before he made his mark on the portable rink. Nevertheless, he was an unseeded player in the 1996 championships. He could come off that wing bowl. That's what he was looking for. Brilliant. Well, David Gourlay doing his best to make the slogan ring true. We saw him put his foot against that wing orange bowl, as much as to say, if I come off that, I can get it. Played it to perfection. Half bowl, in it comes. Out goes the orange. It's 2 to Gourlay.
Yes, difficult shot for Huey now. Narrow channel in there now.
He'll still make 2 of it if he collects the jack. Looks a bit wide. Well, that hand just won't bend with any weight. And Hugh Duff has to concede 2 shots, and things getting to look very rosy now for David Gourlay Jr., the man from Anbank who plays for Prestwick.
A bit of over-determination there. Chance for Hugh to make amends. He's got to make this one count.
Good forehand draw. Looking good. Looks calm and collected, does Hugh Duff. But the pressure was on. Duff now holding shot. David Gourlay. This looks good. Very good. That's number 1.
short ball's about 3 inches, the other ball's just under 5 inches.
The dimensions there defining the difference between success and failure. 3 inches, David Gourlay. Just over 5 inches, Hugh Duff. And now, another chance for David Gourlay Jr. to make 2 shots for a match-winning lie. 2 shots he needs for the title and the £27,000 first prize. Fingers crossed, nails being bitten. Can he do it?
Well, he knows the weight to play. He's drawn within inches with his last. Changed hands, trying to rest that back orange ball. He's on the way. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Everyone here in a packed Preston Guildhall thrilling to the skill of David Gourlay Jr. and an outstanding example of sportsmanship as Hugh Duff shook his hand after that brilliant delivery. 2 shots David Gourlay Jr. lays. If they stay there, David Gourlay will be the world champion, and for the first time an unseeded player will win the title.
Well, their bowling skills and their attitude on the rink, you make them a great advert for our game.
Quiet, please.
Brilliant final.
Thank you.
The moment of truth for Hugh Duff. Duff made up for his defeat in that final by winning the title in 1997. Then, in 1998, his fellow Scot, Paul Foster, a 100-to-1 outsider, met England's Mr. Dependable, Mervyn King, in the final. And tie things up at 2 sets all. The Norfolk supporters there, who included Mervyn's 8-year-old son, Sam. Well, what about that? Oh! That looked like the match winner. A dead-length toucher. Watch how he turns beautifully to the jack, falls over with the bias and pushes the jack to King's bowl.
Well, he shouldn't be too disappointed with that, because the head was building up nicely for Mervyn King. Certainly should have stopped Mervyn winning the set.
Waiting for the winner of this match, the Waterford Crystal Trophy. Will it belong to the 24-year-old Scot? King, on the backhand, has to be careful. Content to play a positional bowl. That's pretty good. But that stops Foster playing any weight, John, but a backhand draw could do the trick.
He doesn't need any weight, David. It's one of his perfect draws. On the backhand, just rolls that shot yellow ball down.
Looking good. He's awfully close with this. Yes! And the sort of roar you might expect from a football match rather than a bowls encounter greets this fantastic possible match-winning shot from Paul Foster. The young man who has shown wonderful drawing skill all week, but has also shown that he can play the shots. That was a beautifully judged running bowl to take out the Mervyn King shot. It's 2 shots now to Paul Foster, and all the fingers are crossed here as Mervyn King attempts to save the match. He's got a good line. What about his weight? He's overweight. He's going to sail by. The new champion of the world. The unseeded player, 100-1 outsider at the beginning of the week. From Troon. Plays for the Irvine Bowls Club. It's Paul Foster who deservedly wins the set by 7 shots to 4, wins the game by 3 sets to 1, and will take the trophy. He's looking at it, he knows. 1999, and a brand new venue for the World Championships, Potter's Leisure Resort near Great Yarmouth. Once again it was an all-Scottish final. Alex Marshall playing against the world's #1, David Gourlay.
Cut it to 1 though, and that's important.
Never afraid to change his hand, Tatty Marshall. Equally good on both sides. It's a perfect rink this for good bowlers. And just look at this man. Boy, he's unreal, that's certainly 2.
1. Well, Dave Higgs, the marker from the Midlothian Club in Dalkeith, doesn't agree. He thinks it's just the 1 for the moment. Gourlay has a good little attacking shot into the pocket, move the jack, score 2 shots.
Doesn't want to touch the edge of Marshall's ball. Oh, through the hole. Would you believe that? I think David Gourlay will feel the world's turning against him. I think Alex querying the fact that it's only 1. It looks like 2 to me. Well, it's quite possible he could have a set lie. That's where he wants the jack. There it is. No more than just to pick that jack up to there. And you count 1, 2, 3. And the bowler delivers 4 shots.
Marshall then with that chance of a delicate trail. Didn't send it. A bit overcautious. And David Gourlay weighing up the options here. That bowl of Marshall makes things difficult for him on the forehand. Is there a backhand shot on for him, Mal, with weight?
Certainly could be. He could play it on the backhand onto his own yellow ball there. If he drives it onto the jack, and this is the last ball of the end, jack comes through here. Look at this. Could get 3 out of this. Doesn't want to turn his own ball out and go through the hole. He could give the match to Alex Marshall.
Well, no change after that reshuffle. Still 1 and a possible measure for 2. Marshall takes the 1 out by agreement. Gourlay unprepared to concede 2. Remember the marker, Dave Higgs, part of a Scottish trio on the green at the moment, did say that he felt the yellow was the closer of these 2. Umpire Brian Daly will tell us. The ball that he knocks out will be the one he awards the measure to.
It's a close one, this.
Yes, the thicker touch on the red ball. It was 2 shots to Alex Marshall. Marshall, the man from East Lothian, leads 5-0 in the 3rd set and by 2 sets to 0. Diane Marshall, formerly Diane Grindley, married Alex about 8 months ago. No wonder she can smile. Alex on the brink of a 3 sets victory.
Well, Alex Marshall is certainly in a hurry. 2 sets to love and 5-0. They missed the 3rd set. But this man, David Gourlay, never a quitter. He'll battle right to the end.
Another great bowl here from Marshall. Marshall, 31 years of age, a storeman and dispatch operative at a firm of bowls manufacturers. If he dispatches the bowls as well at work as he does here on the portable rink, he's a good one.
No, it's a 1/4 of an inch off the jack.
Oh, plenty of room to draw another shot. This man is absolutely unreal. Changes his hand, looking for the back ball of David Gourlay to lay a match lie. And he bends.
Strange to think that Marshall has played in only 2 World Championships before, and played 3 games in total in World Championships, winning just 1 of them. But he is on the brink of a tremendous victory. Won the World Pairs title, indoors and out, This would be his first single success.
Well, another opportunity for Alex Marshall to put the seal on this match. Line one, looking for a second shot, and there'll be some pressure on that man there.
In fact, that bowl behind the jack belonging to David Gourlay can actually help Marshall if he's playing the forehand.
Well, he's only got to lose 18 inches off his last delivery. He's reaching with this. I think this could be the two he requires. Sniggle by. He's done it. Oh, brilliant display. Absolutely first-class delivery there from this man, Alex Marshall. Well, Mr. Gourlay, the match is against you. I think we'll see some power.
And are we looking at the next world champion? Alex Marshall. Formerly of the Bainfield Club, moved last year to East Lothian. His mum there in pink. That's Rena, Alex's mum. And deserves a bit of refreshment. He's done all the work this afternoon. He's made all the running, won the first two sets at a canter, and now 5-0 up in the third set, holding two shots. Let's wait to see what happens, he says. One bowl to come from David Gourlay. David Gourlay's hopes depend entirely on this bowl.
And with weight.
And David Gourlay, an on-target strike, but couldn't quite get through that gap between the two front bowls. He was very, very close. But it's two shots to Alex Marshall. The 31-year-old from East Lothian is the new world champion. His family is celebrating, he's celebrating, and all of Scotland will be celebrating. Of course, it had to be a Scottish winner.
Just for a change in millennium year, an all-Welsh final. John Price, the champion 10 years before, taking on Robert Weale.
Well, he hasn't pushed this one. And he knows that's a missed opportunity.
Tension getting to both players now. Not a really good bowl delivered on this end as yet.
Robert moving on to the forehand. Better percentage shot there. Ball to come off, ball to rest. Jack to touch. 2 or 3 chances playing this. Tell you what, he's not far away as well. Good's good. That's the one.
So the super consistent Robert Weale, urged on by his family from Prestine, sets up a match and championship lie. And again, John Price has only 2 bowls left with which to retrieve it.
Will he get back? Very close to the jack. Got it. Great ball, John Price.
Well, this match is developing into one of the unstoppable force and the immovable object. John Price summoning up the skill and the courage to save the championship yet again, and he's making shots out of it. And while he's doing that, he's still very much in contention.
Absolutely. Robert left with no choice but to try and draw this. Can't afford to run for the ball or the jack. If he misses it, he'll almost certainly lose a 3.
What a draw this would be, though, if he could put this on top of the jack.
He's pushed it out on a high line.
Good line.
It's got to do with weight now. Is he reaching? He's very close. That could be.
Well, turned the yellow bowl over twice. It may be enough. John Price doesn't know. He's had a look at it, calls the marker. David Phillips into it. And John Price, again, leading the applause for that excellent bowl from Robert Weale. And our circles say that it's 1-red. But the angle is not particularly good for our overhead circles. And marker David Phillips hasn't committed himself. Keeping very quiet about it.
Yes, I think he favoured the red. I saw John giving a little clap to Robert. Must look for a similar shot. Well, once again out on a high line. It's all to do with weight. Will he get back?
Wants to pick up the jack up again for 2. The jack, he says the jack. He's missed the jack by a fraction of an inch. John Price collapses on the rink. Now, what does that mean? He wants a measure. And John Price thought he had that. He was very interested. He looked at that with his eagle eye. He thought he was just touching the jack round the corner for 2. He's left things as they are. No one has said whether they favour the red or the yellow. Our rings say it's red, but it will be Dave Higgs, the umpire from Gorbridge in Scotland, who will decide. It's his task to award the shot here. If the shot goes to Robert Weale, the title goes back to Prestine. That's the 3rd time that this title has gone to Wales. Terry Sullivan won it in 1985, John Price won it in 1990, and now in this all-Welsh final it looks like Robert Weale. If he pushes the red bowl out, it's Weale, that's the one. Meet the new world champion, Robert Weale. And look at how the two of them greet each other, congratulate each other on a fantastic game of bowls. Robert Weale can't believe it. Close to tears there, I think, Robert Weale from the Candrindod Wells Club. There's the Prestine flag, that's his outdoor club, and the Weale family. Cheer on. Their most famous. Not a lot came off for John Price in that final, but a hell of a lot came off for a certain young lady who surprised David Gourlay and Welshman Les Saunders in their 3rd round clash.
Wonderful. Very good.
Normal service resumed in 2001, an all-Scottish final. 2 former champions, Paul Foster, who won in 1998, facing a blast from the past, Richard Corsie, who we all thought was semi-retired. For all the talk of Richard Corsie's revival in this set, Paul Foster needs only 1 shot for victory. Close.
You hold.
Paul Foster asks Brian Daly for the position, and Brian Daly says 1-red.
Yes, and a ball between his previous delivery and the jack would do very nicely.
Match lie against Richard Corsie. Still a little bit too much running. Brave effort. Only a foot too heavy. And can you describe how much weight there is in that, John, between getting it right and being a foot heavy?
very, very little on this 17-second carpet. Well, that's a good positional cover ball.
So Richard Corsie, as he has been throughout the match, walking slowly back to the mat. This, his last bowl of the end, his last chance to stay alive in this World Indoor Singles Final. The shot is against him. Paul Foster is the winner, unless Corsie can steal it.
And he's keeping faith in his forehand draw. Got a perfect line in with his previous three. Just needs to get the weight right.
Still running, it's through, and Paul Foster has won the title. The 1998 champion, Paul Foster, from the Irving Club in Ayrshire. The 2002 final could have been between two players in their 20s. But Paul Foster and Ian Bond lost their semi-finals to Richard Corsie and Tony Alcock, respectively. Corsie in his late 30s, and Alcock positively a veteran at 46. Two men who had already won the title 5 times between them.
And when you're looking to close down an end, you don't get too much better bowls than that. Absolutely brilliant.
Corsie, who like Alcock, took up bowls in his early teens and has been one of the giants of the sport.
Controlled rate for Richard Corsie. He's trying to bend around his own bowl. Can he make it? Can he bend? He's getting an edge. Surely he's getting an edge. Oh, what an effort. A great effort by Richard Corsie, but those two bowls were just too difficult. Couldn't move the jack far enough. Gets trapped on the back bowl. And it's all in favour of Tony Alcock now. So Richard Corsie is going to be left with his last bowl to save the championship.
Yes, disappointment there on the face of Richard Corsie as he realised that only one of the bowls had gone. But there's only one Alcock bowl in there at the moment. If Tony Alcock fails to get in with this, Corsie has a reasonable chance with his next delivery. But is Tony Alcock likely to fail?
Well, he'll not fail with this, I can tell you. He's right in there again. He's closed it down once more. And Richard Corsie could play an absolutely marvellous ball here to take the two bowls out. But Tony Alcock gets one left, and this is as good a position as you could ever dream of. If he gets the edge of the front red one on the backhand, it looks good on the backhand if he can get one ball onto the other. Well, that's one alternative there. The two balls will go out. Looking on the backhand, controlled weight. It's not going to get back. It's all over.
And an emotional moment for Tony Alcock. He can hardly hold back the tears. He can't believe it. The 46-year-old man from Gloucestershire has won the world title. 16 years after he won it in Coatbridge in 1987. Here he is, Tony Alcock, well-deserved winner.
We hope the clips that you have seen have stirred memories and that you've enjoyed some of the highlights of our wonderful sport. Let's hope there are many more exciting moments in store for us. Thanks for watching, good luck and good bowling.